As you become a British citizen, you feel country as a whole. It's like that mother hen takes all his chicks under his wings, supports you, protects you. Whereas in Iran, I never had that feeling with the government who were running the country.
Mehredad has moved from Iran and welcomes the support he receives in the UK. This is Writer's Mosaic, What We Leave We Carry, the series that tells the true life stories of migration to the UK.
I was born in Tehran, capital city of Iran. I was 29 years old when I moved to Britain. It was suburbs, the west of Tehran. I have 4 brothers and 2 sisters, and I am the second child of the family. The main ideas was the programs I saw on the television. Seeing people dressed nice, always with the top hat, and they keep telling each other it's a beautiful day when the sun shines. And for an Iranian who has nearly 9-10 months of sunshine, was that bit weird? I couldn't understand it. So with other teenagers, we used to take a mickey out of each other, and every time we saw each other, we used to pretend we lifting up our hats and we were telling each other it's a good day. And they used to answer back, it's a good day. And until I moved to UK and I realised it rains a lot, and when sun comes out, you're obliged to tell the other people it's a beautiful day. It made sense after I moved. Mainly cartoons, children programs, and some soap operas and other programs, because it was broadcasted on national TV. And after revolution, I don't think there was much production of movies and the programs in Iran, so they used to buy all sorts of programs from different countries, and that's what we used to watch. I was growing up during Iran-Iraq war. And it was very difficult to make your mind up what you're going to do with your life. Your mindset was, when I finish my studies, I've got to go to do my national service, and I'm going to end up going to the war, and I'll make my decision after that. I did do national service, but luckily it was just a few months after war finished, and I didn't have to take part in the war. But growing up, they always was positive ideological programs on the telly. Always they tell you're going to be a martyr. You're gonna live in a nice place if you die for your country. So that was mainly ideology than the way of thinking. So when I come to age of 14, 15, I wasn't thinking about my future. I was thinking, am I going to take part in this war or not? Am I going to volunteer or wait for my national service? So that was a question I never found the answer for. I didn't think about it. I had few friends, and they used to tell me, what you going to do after your national service? And I didn't know what to do with my life. And one of the friends said, look, we can get a space in university in Birmingham, so if you want to take part. And study computers, so hopefully we'll start a computer business after you finish your studies. And I managed to get a space, and I moved. I was excited. Obviously my parents not, and they didn't want me to move. They wanted me to stay in Iran and not move out of the country. But I was excited. I was excited to come and see a new culture. I used to travel a bit before that. I've traveled to Malaysia, Singapore, Turkey, and coming out of Iran, all the restrictions, i.e. coming to the nightclubs and the pubs and restaurants. It was a bit more freedom as a young man, so I was excited about it. But my mum was very sad, and my dad was. They didn't want me to move. They wanted to keep their son with themselves, to be close up, not to be far away in another country. It just amazes me. I had no feelings at all. I just thought it's a new adventure and I need to start. But it was very emotional for my younger brothers and sisters and my mum especially, yes. I think they were sad. They used to look up to me, and me not being around was a bit of a shock for them, and they were quite young back then. I brought a rug which was made by my grandmother. She made it when she was a teenager, going back 80, 90 years ago. She made it. They call it kilim, and it's stripes of red, yellow, green, blue, navy blue, and is in our sitting room, and I always look at it every day, several times a day, yes. It reminds me of Iran, yes. It reminds me of family mainly. My mum said this is very precious to her because her mum made it for her. She never used it. Because now I'm going, I need to have a very, very poignant piece of our family. So yeah, it was something, it was special to my mom, so it is special to me. Wherever I lived always has been in my sitting room. It's part of my family, my culture, and the country. It was completely alien to me. One thing, I was proud of myself. I can speak English, and what I studied and what I practiced in Singapore and Malaysia. First step in Britain and first step in Birmingham, I couldn't understand the word people were saying, and I called my mom and said, I don't think people speak English over here. Mom said, well, you're in England, aren't you? I said, I am, but I don't understand them. Then I started meeting people and talking to others, and they say, wait until you get used to it, you'll understand it. It's the accent I was struggling to understand, but it took me 6 months to understand it. Yeah, it was good, yeah. But the first impression, completely alien. Nothing like what it was in Turkey, because I could speak the language, or in Singapore and Malaysia. I wasn't living, I was visiting. It was easier to get by. When you move to live in a country, you have to speak the language. So it was a bit alien to me, but after 6-7 months, I managed to get by. After a few months, I found a job, a part-time job in a local hotel. And there was an Irish guy called Roy. He said to me, the best way of learning British culture and British language is behind the bar. Just go and find a job behind the bar at the hotel and speak to the manager and ask him to put you there. You'll learn the language and culture quite quick. And I think that was the best advice I had from him, and I started as a barman after that, and it was the best way of learning language, the culture, and people. Coming from a country like Iran with no bars or pubs or alcohol is illegal, first 2 weeks of that job I was training. I didn't have to serve anybody, but I used to look at the other barmaids or barman serving, customers arriving, and I was concentrating 100%. They asking for a pint of beer. What is pint? The bigger glass is a pint. The smaller glass is a half a pint, and beer comes out of the tap or bottle. And wine glasses and the spirits and everything else. Then while they were serving, they were chatting, and I was listening with all my concentration and attention. And I realized, yes, this is the place to learn the language and understand the people. Like how relaxed are the women and man engaging? That wasn't the way in Iran, and it was quite a bit of a shock to my system to see how relaxed girls and boys are mixing. We never had that in Iran, and it took me a bit of a time to get used to that. But when I did, and I said, oh, this way is better. There isn't much different. The sky is blue everywhere in this world. But how free you are to express your emotions, or grab your girlfriend's hand, or even kiss her in the street, that is the biggest difference between Iran and England. At least it was in our time, even though in Iran it's changing now. The youngsters are more relaxed these days. But that was the revelation to me. It took me a long time to be less shy. I was going out with my girlfriend for 6-7 months, and after that I started grabbing her hand in the streets. I couldn't. I was always worried somebody's looking, or somebody's going to judge me. But I am relaxed about it now. When it comes to voting, I've got a right to vote. I'm not saying there's no corruption in Britain, or all the politicians are good people. No, I'm not saying that. But you can choose the person you vote for, and you can question them to what they haven't delivered and what they promised and what they haven't delivered, which I didn't have that freedom in Iran. I had a vote, but vote was set up and you choose what they've told you to choose. I think that is the best thing in the UK. I'm not saying that all the politicians are great in the UK, but at least I have the choice. Or at least when it comes to corruption, especially financial corruption, you can expose them without being worried you're going to get arrested. I've never had any issue with police and never been stopped. But sometimes you meet some white people and you try to talk to them and try to communicate in the right way. But they always look at you as a little person, purely based on your colour and based on your accent. And they think you are thinking with an accent, not speaking with an accent. One story I've got is related to my job, and I always talk to my customers, and we were talking about books. And I said one of my ambitions in life was to learn the language and read the satanic verses of Salman Rushdie to see what was all that about. But the book is extremely difficult to read, and I only managed 60 pages, and that took me a long time. I kept going to the beginning, come back to the 60th page, and I couldn't keep up with it. The paragraphs are too big, and he changes subject quite often. My wife is English, and I said, look, I'm struggling to keep up with this book. Can you read it and let me know what's happening? My wife managed only 25 pages, and she said, no, I can't keep up with the book. I don't enjoy reading it. And I was talking to my passenger, and I was talking about Salman Rushdie's book, and I told him I only managed 60 pages. Then it started talking about other books, and the first thing came out of his mouth to answer me, he said, oh, you only managed 60 pages from the other book as well. And I found it very offensive. You said that because I've got accent. No, I can read book, but Salman Rushdie's book was difficult to read. And I felt judged based on my accent and based on my colour, not from what I knew and what I've studied. I felt he's thinking I'm not mentally competent enough to read the book, and I stopped talking to him. I came with a 5-year plan as well. I wanted to finish my studies, and I had some friends importing and exporting computer parts from Singapore and exporting carpets to Singapore. I was going to join them until I met my back then girlfriend, now wife, and that plan was out the window. We started having a good time. We started going on holidays, and I decided to stay and didn't think or didn't look back. There is a singer called Haideh. She died a while ago. and one of her songs is a Black Eyes, and it tells about her lover with the black eyes, and I recite that every now and again. It tells about people who look like me, and about the eye color, hair color, everything. When I'm on my own, when my wife is out and nobody's about, and I just put it on with the loud speakers and listen to it. I never listen to it when there are English speaking people around me, because I always have that feeling they might don't understand it, or they might don't feel the emotion I'm feeling. It reminds me of my people. It reminds me of Iran. It reminds me of my childhood, teenage years, falling in love, heartbroken, all sorts. There is a unofficial national anthem. I think if you ask any Iranian, they'll tell you the same. It says, "My Iran, a Iran." That is the opening of the national anthem. It has been the Iranian national anthem for a very short period of time, but every regime has had their own idea of national anthem, and they've taken that off the air and put their own on. But I think that goes with every Iranian. I listen to that quite a lot. But the rest of the national anthems we had over the last 30, 40 years, they're not patriotic. They are promoting ideologies. The poet who wrote that national anthem is nearly 60, 70 years ago. But every Iranian has heard it and has had it at some point in their life if they're over 40 years old. And even we had a bit of a uprising about 2 or 3 years ago with the young girls about removing their hijab. It come back. A lot of Iranians started singing it and playing it. I can't find it right now. It does make me feel proud. It does make me feel emotional. It does make me feel how good country and a great country could be in the right hands. I didn't want to renounce Iran, but I was proud of being British. As you become a British citizen, you feel country as a whole. It's like that mother hen takes all his chicks under his wings, supports you, protects you. Whereas in Iran, I never had that feeling with the government who run in the country. I never had that feeling. If one day I get in trouble outside Iran, my country is going to come and support me. But I always had that feeling with Britain, and I do feel British, and I am proud of it. To respect other people, to try to understand their way of thinking, even if you have to agree to disagree, but don't lose respect. Every year I go and visit my family. It's great to see the family, but I don't get excited to see the country, because the country as a whole being shortchanged by our own government and by the Western government. I always feel Iran is an isolated country which doesn't deserve to go through all these hardships with all that resources and culture, history. But it's been shortchanged. Pollution, traffic, not looking after the environment, mainly by our government. Even recently, they don't have enough power to lit the homes. Shortage of water. Population is decreasing. The generation getting older due to financial difficulties. The youngest don't have any children. And I think it's a country being shortchanged with from every angle possible. I have the freedom, and financially it gave me a freedom of managing my finances. I managed to help my family every now and again, they needed it. If I hadn't come to Britain, my family probably would have gone through some hardship financially. But I feel proud I can put my hand in my pocket and help them out if they need it. Not every time they need it, but if they do, I am there. And I always felt the physical and financial security in Britain. Probably if I stayed in Iran, I wouldn't have had that. You get an Iranian passport after you finish your national service and everything, and I kept it because I would like to go and visit my family. With a British passport, I have to ask for a visa, and they can refuse me if they want to. So that is the only reason I kept my Iranian passport, and I renew it when I'm in Iran because I don't want the stamp of issued in London embassy, because that is a taboo. They don't like the dual citizen. They know I'm a dual citizen, but they don't like the dual citizen. They don't like you to research. They don't like you to understand. The less you know, better they rule you.
Mehredad was talking to Colin Grant,